Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Right, we're going to take a little look at the Chevrolet C30A General Service Vehicle with steel body. Now this is by IBG and it is 1/35th scale. Now this kit was supposed to be sent to me by IBG, which they didn't, so I ended up getting it from my local hobby store, which was E-Models. I shall say this to start off with, as this one is up for a build review and I'm a man of my word, so I went and purchased this for the build review. So we'll take a little look and see what we've got in the box. Start off with the box art is typical of IBG. I like this just straightforward, no messing about box, and we'll get into the box. As you can see, quite a bit of plastic, which we will have a closer look at. But I'll try to bring people at it. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 sprues, 1 decal, decal, transfer or stickers, whichever you would like to call it, it is sound by me. We have 1 workshop manual, which we will take a closer look at. I shall switch the camera off and we'll reposition and we'll start on the workshop manual. Right, workshop manual, typical IBG pamphlet form, which I like. Not too much on the front. A drawing, what you got on the box as the box art, showing you the clear sprues and just showing you that the 2 in the grey area won't be used and it's only these 2. The PE fret, and also we've got the decal sheet as well. We have some colour callouts. We have Vallejo Mod Air, AK Interactive, and another one there I can't see. But we do have 3 colour callouts now for 3 different companies, which is handy. Right, over to the first page. Put that back in the centre. Are we all nicely focused in? I hope so. Just make sure. Yeah, that looks pretty clear to me. Right, the first 2 pages contain your sprue map. Nice and clear, nice and big. The second 2 pages we have the rest of your sprues. Grey area showing the items that are not used. And on to the first page of your steps. Now IBG always do theirs in small modular things that you actually put together, separate units, and then they all go together at the end. So we're starting off at the top, the wheels, which they always go together. Well, actually all the IBG stuff goes together nicely. I've never had no problems with them. Exhaust, fuel tank, side running boards, tow hitch. Then we've got the front grille, which is PE, which you do have to bend up. The split drive box, back axle and front axle. The front nudge bar or bumper or fender, whichever way you want to call it. Right, on On to step 15. This is the engine assembly. The engines are very nice on these. They always go together. You can detail them up very well if you like. We're down to the cab floor pan. Putting the runners in for the seats. Very well detailed. Over to step 19. This is putting the mudguards on, and seats, steering wheel on with the bonnet, hood, whichever way you want to call it. Front windscreen. The Chevrolets are pretty standard. There's a standard set out for the Chevrolets, so it's just a matter of the different half is going to be the back half. Right, roof. You have two choices of roof. You can have one with a hatching and one without. Moving on to the back half. Now you've got three options on this. You can either have it covered, you can either have it open like a pickup, or you can have it semi-covered with just the poles there. So you have three options on that. The chassis always go together nicely. I've never had no problems with them at all. This is the completion of the chassis, putting the engine in, putting your prop shafts and split box to the front and rear axle, as these were four-wheel drive, and then all your units actually start coming together now. The exhaust pipe comes on, the back half of your whichever way you decide to go. If you decide to go with the wire or open back, cab, and the I've forgotten the name of these now. I think they're called like running boards or foot plates. And finally, that's what it should look like. You have the two, well, they're giving you two options there, but you could actually leave this frame off and just have it as a pickup, or with the frame, or put the cab on. I quite like it just the frame. I'm not a great lover of all this covered in business. There is a few, I ain't going to go into all these different variants for different companies. Anglian 1942 Chevrolet for the 4th Canadian Infantry, Canadian Infantry driving England 1940. There's quite a few there that you can make it a variant of. There is more another one for the camouflage, and this is the Anglian 1942 48th Highlanders, Canadian Infantry, 1st Canadian Infantry, loads of them. You got loads of choices what you can make. So that is the workshop manual, and I will now drop the camera down and we'll start having a look at the parts. Right, we'll start looking at these parts. We'll start off with the wheels. Nice and clean. I like these wheels actually, they go together extremely well, and I think the logo is good tier. I think it's spelled with a T, so I think that's the way they get over it. But these are two-part, they go together lovely, they stand off, no seam line, no problems at all. Right, we go on to the next sprue. As you can see, there's no flash, the detailing's good. Now there's two of these sprues, so I'll just show you the one. The pile stood up there, move that one across. Now I'm not too sure if this is the chassis you actually use. There's two chassis in this pack, but it's part of the exhaust pipe, one of the struts, prop shaft, all nice and clean, all well detailed. these are smaller components for the engine. There's the air filter, starter motor, all the little bits and pieces that you need. The fan belt, steering wheel, another part to the exhaust pipe, and there's another bit. Not quite sure how that all works, but they do. I know you get a lot of bits different for the different variants. Side doors. That's your roof. One with a hatch, and you get one without a hatch, so you can camera decides to play. Turn that over. There's not even no injector pin marks on the inside of that. It's nicely done. That's the outside of the doors. Oh, no, actually that's the inside, because you put the handles on the outside one. Running plate bracket for the driver. Right, so here you've got another chassis, so I'm not quite sure which one you use, if it's the short one or the long one. It will tell you in the instructions. Suspension, or your leaf springs. I ain't quite sure if that's front or back. Radiator, there's two radiators in this, so which one you use will be in the instructions or the workshop manual. Front and rear axles. You have got two of them, two halves. A lot of these bits are the chassis struts that go across. Some there. You've got more leaf springs, manifold, all nice and clean, all nice and crisp. That's the two halves to the engine, which they do go together extremely well, and they do look nice if you want to do some really good detailing on them. Over we go to, well, let the camera. This is the back deck. Turn that over. You can see, all nice and clean, nothing to write home about. These are the side storage boxes. I'll turn that over again so you can actually see. They're the side storage boxes which you would put the doors on. All nice and clean, all nice and crisp. That is the door for the roof with the sunroof in, so that's how I'd call it. Back towing hitch. Another support bracket there for the running boards for the driver. That's the second radiator. I'm not quite sure which you use. That is the front bumper. Like I say, all nice and crisp, all nice and clean. Look at the front, there we go, it's got the towing hitches on the front of the bumper. I'm not quite sure, I think that's for the steering, and the end brackets for the chassis. Right. I think this is part of the tailgate. I'm not going to swear on that because it's a different version, and I would say they're the two ends to the under the stowage bins that run along the side. But, all nice and clean, crisp, no problems. Right, start here. This is the back half of the cab. The footwell, should I say? The base plate for the cab. Front fenders or bumpers, whichever you want to call them. Some other bits. That is the windscreen and the dashboard, so you can do a little bit of detailing inside. They're the two inner wings for the mudguards. All nice and clean. I keep saying that word, all nice and crisp, because they are. There's the inside of the cab, which is pretty well detailed, and the floor pan, windscreen. Now I know it looks delicate, but they do come out quite easily. With a pair of side cutters, that frame will come out with no problems at all. It seems to be the right plastic that don't stress itself out when you cut it off. But if you are, you know, worried about things like that, I would just cut it off. I haven't even got a pointing stick. I would just cut there, and cut there, and do the same at that end, and then release it. But I've always done it out of the sprue, and I've always just gone along, and it's always come out lovely. So if you're concerned, that's what you do. Right, what else was that? More bits and pieces, fuel cap, more supports for the running board, as I call it, bottom half of the fuel tank. I'm not quite sure what that little bit is there. That will come to light. I think that's the rear leaf springs, and the other ones we saw were the front. They're your little side plates. They are done in the checker plate. More supports. They're very well detailed, these kits are. I do like them. I do shout about IBG stuff, but you can see the reason why. They always go together absolutely perfectly. Now that's a second one of that sprue, and then we move on. There's two of these sprues. Right, these are the rear doors by the look of it for the for the stowage, and also what you've got here is the framework if you want to have it open backed. Now, like I say, you cut these up close with side cutters, they will come out. I've never had problems with any of it. They always come out nice and clean. Oh, come on camera. I think this is one of the sides, but I think we're looking at the back. These bits here, they're the top half of your frame, and that one is as well, because it's got a weird shaped frame at the top. But that's all in the instructions. I'll turn it over and we'll have a look. Yes, that is the side. That's the side. Nice little tying cleats on the side, all nicely moulded in. We really haven't got no problems at all with any of this. Beautifully clean. Right, we're coming on to, yes, we're on the last one. I ain't going to take this out of the packet. Clear parts, as you can see, they're clear. You'll only be using two, and that's these two here. The others are spares, so you can put them into your spare box. Now finally, I'm going to lift the camera up a little bit, because we've got one largish bit to look at. There we go. Just give the camera a few seconds to focus. I'm going to need to go up a little bit further. This is the back half of the vehicle, and as you can see, they've illustrated with as well in this, because this is covered, that weird shape piece which is there, look, with the centre one. You can see, look, they've really done it quite nice with the origin of the tarpaulin. The tie downs and that are really nice and crisp and sharp. They do pop out quite well. This would be the part that's facing towards the cab, and as you can see, they've got really nice detail of the tarpaulin being pulled down, which is quite impressive actually. Over to your far side, again, you can see all the ridging, nicely done. And we'll look down the back half, and this will have the tailgate or whatever is going on there. And that's that. And finally, the decals, well, sorry, decals, decals, transfers or stickers, whichever you would like to call them, is fine by me. And also in the back there you get a small photo fret, which is the engine grille, a fan blade, and I can't remember what the other bits are for. Well, there's two bits for the engine grille, which is that bit and that bit. You have got to bend it, but it does bend just with a pair of tweezers. You don't need no really technical stuff to do it. And I think these bits go on the front bumper, and that bit goes underneath the radiator. So there's not a great deal of photo edge in it, and if you've never done photo edge, it's just a nice bit to start with. So that is everything on this kit. Thank you very much for joining me. Subscribe if you want to. Give you the thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much.